It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, Decky reviews the Shamrock Rivers game before we have a look at the Bohs and Waterford previews. We introduce a brand new segment here on TOTAP where we talk about the Arc Cinema deal. We discuss the Celtic game, and our Careman takes us through the FORAS AGM as well as a statement. All of this and more on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 5, Episode 254 in total of your multi-award winning podcast. Throw us a 5-star rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. And why not join us on Patreon, patreon.com/TOTAP. And a reminder as well, you do not get anything extra. Dan Casey here, and I'm joined by my other three amigos, Wayne Mullins, Declan McCormack, and Careman in tow, Declan Carey. Lads, how are we all? Wayne, we'll go to you first.
I'm good. I'm in good form, Dan. Bit of a headache today, but other than that, I'm good. Yourself?
Very good. Feeling nice and positive. Fairly uneventful time, to be fair. Careman, how are you getting on?
Yeah, feeling good as well, Dan. Yeah, had a relatively free weekend. Not a lot to watch on TV or anything, or anywhere to go of serious importance. But look, I'm sure we'll get to that. But other than that, fantastic weekend. Yeah, very positive.
Well, look, there was only great things happening surrounding the club this week. Academy's back, cinema deal with the Arc. We can talk about all that later, as well as Celtic game hopefully getting closer to happening. So we're going to start with the events yesterday. Declan McCormack, what did you make of it all?
Oh, look, Dan, I thought it was by far and away the best performance of the Clancy era, from that second that Shawnee skinned Joss Hounahan in the second minute, turned him inside out, left him on his arse, got in, got the great ball away that hit the base of the post. You kind of knew from that point on that we were on it, that this was going to be a game we were going to take to them. And so it was only 10 minutes later, the exact same thing happened. That out to inside run that we spoke about again, skins Hounahan, brilliant finish. We're 1-0 up, and you're just thinking, look, are we going to push on and go for a second, or are we going to sit in and try and defend the lead? In fairness to Tim Clancy, you could hear him on the side and just saying, get after them, go. And they did, and deservedly went 2-0 up. And Scotty, you have to say, what a fucking ball from Malik Dijksteel, a brilliant ball in. Keats gets across the front of Roberto Lopez, leaves Lopez on his ass. Lovely little, just flick with the outside of the foot, and you're 2-0 up, and it's like, Jesus, what's happening here, and again, you just want him to keep going, and lads, how brilliant was it for Tim Clancy to say what he said after the game? I mean, it makes this podcast, it puts it on the map, for Tim. To be fair to him, he didn't have to do it, but for him to go out there and say the third goal was a direct result of what was said on this podcast last week about Lopez and Dan Cleary stepping into midfield and how we could trap them and press them at the right times. And, for Tim to say that he heard that and he took it back and they worked on it for 3 days in training prior to the game. And then for Greg Bulger to nab and trap Dan Cleary like that, And look, I don't give a shit when anybody says it. It's never a foul. That's never a foul. And I know Cleary gets booked afterwards for moaning and groaning like they're always at it. Fair play to the referee. He stood up to him, didn't take the shit. Greg lays it off. And look, goal of the season contender already from Rio Shipston, straight into the top corner. Ed McGinty looked like the best keeper in the country at Sligo last year, but you kind of start to wonder what do Shamrock Rovers do to goalkeepers when they go up there, because he looked dodgy on Thursday night. He was just that goal that they conceded against Mulder Thursday night. He was slow to move his feet here again, and we're 3-0 up, and it's over at half time. And obviously, look, we all saw the miss, 2 minutes into injury time at the end of the first half. Couldn't help but think of Scotty. He was right. Aaron Green is shit, because how do you miss that opportunity? As I said, would have changed the game going in at halftime. It would have been 3-1 instead of 3-0. And it just, it would have been incredible. But look, it was what it was. Never saw a goalkeeper openly laugh at a player who missed before. But Team Troost had he had to do it, because it was the miss was so bad. And look, they're banging on about heavy pitches and bad bobbles and everything like that. But what are you going to do? Surely if they had ground staff working on the pitch, all day, you know. It wouldn't, the ground wouldn't have been so poor. And it did make me wonder if they were trying to get the game called off by not doing any work on the pitch, and it just went against them and they didn't manage to get it called off. And, you know, I mean, amazing start to the second half. Jack Byrne comes on, he's on 5 minutes, breaks a toenail and is ruled out for another 9 months, you know. So, I mean, it was madness. And
is he still going on?
Yeah, like the Cleary red card was fucking bedlam, you know. 4-0 up. Shawnee gets another one. Brilliant finish. I don't agree with Tim Clancy's decision to put Dara Crowley in goal for the last 5 minutes. I know he said that, you know, during Dara's time at City, he's played in every other position, bar in goal. And when we're 4-0 up away at Tala, he felt there was an opportunity to give him a go in goal. We conceded a late one, a super goal to concede, gave away the clean sheet. But look, 4-1. Fantastic result, brilliant performance. Obviously, all that is an absolute load of bollocks because it didn't fucking happen that way. It could have happened that way. It possibly would have happened that way. But we are overseen by a bunch of Neanderthal fucking idiots who decided to call the game off 35 minutes before the game started, when, according to people in the know, Shamrock Rovers were telling people that at 11 o'clock, at the 11 o'clock inspection, that the pitch was unplayable and the game could not go ahead. Gavin Colfer doesn't show up till 4 o'clock to do his inspection, does it, by all accounts, allegedly, all those words that don't try to keep us out of trouble, refuse to go back out after the heavy downpour, and it's 5:15 before there's another inspection done, and the game is called at 5:15. What kind of a shit show is this? And I'll tell you this much, Dan. Shamrock Rovers consider themselves the big club in this country. 4 in a row, blah-de-blah, blah-de-blah. Big clubs don't hide from football games. And Shamrock Rovers spent the whole of yesterday hiding from a game of football. And that's all they did. They did not want to play the game. They ensured that the game wasn't played. There was nobody working on the pitch. One person employed to work on the pitch all day, by all accounts. Team Troost took a pitchfork and went out and tried to start clearing the pitch himself because he could see there was nobody working on it. Now, it was taken off him and he was cleared off the pitch. But the players saw it was going on. The management saw it was going on. The club officials saw it was going on. And I'd say it again. Big clubs don't hide from games of football. They go out and they play them. There's no way Shamrock Rovers get near the league title this year because the mentality is gone. They're a busted flush. They're done and dusted. Absolutely finished. Wanted the game Thursday night, played the game Thursday night, didn't want the game yesterday, didn't play it. That's not how champions behave. That's not how clubs who believe they can win league titles behave. And I've seen enough of Shamrock Rovers in their performances so far this season to absolutely undeniably and categorically say that, again, they won't be next or near the title. They're done. They've had their peak. They're now heading very quickly for their trough. Clowns.
Wayne, as a Shamrock fan, how do you care to respond?
Is he wrong, though? Like, we had a great crack yesterday rattling the Shamrock fans on social media, and they're all come back going, oh, fake rivalry, and but they're the ones replying to us. We heard all this news yesterday, that what was going on, and 100% convinced that they didn't want to play the game either. And look, they can throw out all their lines, they can say what they want, but we know deep down what was always going to happen yesterday. I know they're trying to throw the referee under the bus, allegedly. So we're up for it. But look, fight him another day. See what happens. But it's disappointing. I was looking forward to the game. Just feel bad for the fans who spent, 60 quid in petrol, 20 quid in a ticket, 15, 20 quid in lunch. If you're dad with 2 kids, getting home late. And
just your whole time is gone as well. The insulting part about it. Like,
but that's part of going to the away game, though, being a City fan, is that, you do think that. But on the plus points, we're unbeaten going into Bohs on Friday. So we go from one set of Egypts to the next set of Egypts. So crack on, as I say.
Nice, Decky. What's your 2 cents on the situation yesterday?
Oh, Dan, all I was thinking about as that announcement went out and the absolute shit show that it was from the FAI yet again was, I am so glad I no longer sit at the head of the table and that I'm the chairman of TOTAP's transfer committee and I'm no longer chairman of the football club, because I had enough frustrating experiences with the FAI for 5+ years that I just, there was a little smile for me yesterday saying, oh, thank God, no, I'm nowhere near this. And, I can observe it and judge it from the outside finally. And as Decky said, and as Wayne said, it was an absolute shit show. Something came over me. I don't know, was it on Saturday at some stage, just as I was reading the previews and I was listening to Greg Bolger's pre-match interview and stuff. And I was just like, I just can't see this match going ahead for whatever reason. And I don't know why that was. It was just, maybe it was the fact that Rovers went to extra time and penalties and it was playing out exactly the way Cork City FC wanted it to play out. And I was just thinking, they've got such strong pull as well in the FAI that's undeniable, and across the league administration team that, certain things could happen so that the fixture wouldn't go ahead. And look, I know there'll be all these jokes that Bradley doesn't control the weather and all that stuff, but I just think there was no way that game was going ahead on Sunday, and they're in such a position and they have potentially the power to pull that off when they see fit, and they can pull all the shenanigans they want. And I've heard of shenanigans up in Tallaght Stadium before with various matters, and their academy teams as well, it seems to be running through there. So whatever they're teaching them in Roadstone, then maybe we can learn a bit from them. But yeah, I just think very disappointing, especially for the fans that travelled up, and then they've gone to all that expense, and then they've got the Bohs game now on Friday, so it's been a tough 6 or 7 days for any City fan from a cost perspective to only get one game out of all that. And one thing I hope is that at least Shamrock Rovers as the home team and the FEI enforce this, is that full refunds are available to supporters, because it's one thing saying, oh yeah, we'll let your ticket be honoured for the return fixture. Like, that game was on a Sunday evening, and I'm sure, look, I know there were City fans got the train up and they got buses and things like that.
I think it has to be fair. I've the lad who I was with, he got a refund. There and then.
It'd be typical League of Ireland to just say, "Oh yeah, honour the return fixture." I was waiting for that, but that's good news to hear anyway. At least that's the first positive from this, and I've seen the statements as well from everyone involved, and I thought our own statement was particularly weak, to be honest. From Cork City, I think we should have went in a little bit harder on everyone involved, and I can't believe that was the statement we put out after hours of preparation and travel and going up and down and. Coming back with basically nothing at all, and to find out 40 minutes before kickoff, like I think it was a pretty weak statement. I thought the statement that FORAS put out was much harsher and held the FEI accountable, and that's what we should have done as a football club. But look, c'est la vie. Hopefully we can learn from this. But
we're too nice. Like, we just want to be the pals with everyone. We want to be friends with everyone. Wayne, you're looking to come in here.
Yeah, that's it's been at that for the last couple of years, that we're too afraid to go in on other teams. We'd much rather kind of do it to ourselves. But I think that we had an opportunity there to kind of bring back the old Cork mentality, us against them, and we just fluffed our lines again as usual. It's a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I think Wayne, I agree with you. You get one or two chances in a season, I think, to really demonstrate, we are the rebel army, etc., and drive that tribal mentality. And Richie Holland did it at the time of the Guard of Honour, and he grabbed it with both hands. And I just wonder, do we have enough people involved at the club that can see those opportunities to strike while the iron is hot and galvanise the supporter base? And it would have been a real opportunity for the club to galvanise the fan base at such early days in the season and get a huge crowd for the Bohs game and really drive the media and everything else this week.
Decky, you're looking to come in here. Do you think that game was ever going ahead?
No, most likely not. What I've been told is that Shamrock Rovers knew at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning it wasn't going to go ahead. We were told on Saturday night about a pitch inspection on Sunday morning, so it was kind of lining up. Now, I'm not going down the conspiracy theory route, but Shamrock Rovers' counter argument is that they wanted it called off at 11 o'clock, and the referee wouldn't call it off, and they're going after the referee. They're going after Gavin Colfer. So it's going to be interesting to see what way it works out. Just on our statement, I didn't mind our statement too much, to be honest with you. Yes, we could have been harsher, but I'm not going to criticize. But there was one line in there that stood out to me about, especially the ground staff or the grounds team or something like that. There was one line in there. What ground staff? That was the whole point. There was no grounds. There was nobody brushing water off the pitch. There was nobody pitchforking the pitch. There was one ground staff member, according to most people who were there watching, one person not just standing around, not cleaning water off the pitch. Shamrock Rovers made no effort to get the game to go ahead, and they're nose out of joint because they have to pay all their match staff and all that. That's what's bothering them. They're not bothered about Cork City supporters who travel from Cork. They're bothered because it cost them money, because when it got called off at 5:15, they had to pay their match day staff anyway. Whereas if it got called off at 11 o'clock, they wouldn't have had to pay them. That's what Shamrock Rovers are more bothered about. Make no doubt about it. Their management are more than happy that the game didn't take place. And to be fair, you can understand why. You can understand that and understand why. Their club management are, as I said, nose out of joint because they have to pay all the match day staff and rent the stadium. Now they'll have to do it a second time, etc., etc. I know Dex is about the FAI and Rovers have huge influence on the FAI, but the feeling I get is that Rovers and the FAI are slightly on opposite sides of this, and that the FAI wouldn't call it off at 11 o'clock. Rovers wanted it called off at 11 o'clock, which would have suited us. We would have never left Cork. Fan base would have never left Cork. And that's the time that it should have been called off. Once we got to a 4 o'clock inspection, you're asking for trouble. You have to be asking for trouble. And it's ludicrous the way it was allowed to happen. This is only week 2. There was 2 games in the first division off Friday night as well because of pitches. There was a game there on Thursday night. There was a game there on Friday night. And that game's like the middle of June when its sun is belting out of the sky. 3 games in 4 days is still going to kill a pitch. So why didn't somebody in the league office 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago to start the season go, let's flip that game? Because remember last season, we flipped 5 games we flipped last season to allow Turner's Cross to recover. When there's a game there Thursday night, a game there Friday night, why do the league office not go, let's flip the games? You can play in Turner's Cross on Sunday, and Cork City would the next round would play in Tallaght Stadium. Would have been simple, would have been easy. There's no foresight, there's no outside the box thinking, there's no attention to detail. The whole thing was Rovers have to be at home on week 1 so they are away on week 1 so they can play Bohs in the big stadium in Dublin. No, therefore they have to be at home on week 2. Fuck that. They could have been away 2 weeks running. It could have been done. It could have been, and it would have been logical and it would have been sensible and it would have made, perfect sense to everybody except the FAI. And I would imagine Rovers didn't want to be away 2 weeks running either. But this is the shit show we end up at then. And the only people it affects in any great detail are Cork City supporters who spend 2.5 hours or more travelling to Dublin on Sunday to be told half an hour before the game starts, sorry, piss off home. Here's your 20 quid back. Off you go. Nobody gives a shit about you. FAI didn't apologise to Cork City supporters. Shamrock Rovers didn't apologise to Cork City supporters. Cork City didn't apologise to Cork City supporters. And we feel for people. But nobody used the word we're sorry. Nobody used the word we apologise. So, big situations, big people come up and take responsibility. Who's going to come up and take responsibility for the shit show on Sunday? Nobody. Because there's no big people in the league and there's no big people at fucking Shamrock Rovers.
Wayne, you're looking to come in there.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not just City fans. To be fair, Shamrock fans too have been put out. I know you're saying they're close by, but a lot of them, some probably don't live in Tallaght. They can live out somewhere else, and it's a Sunday, 6 o'clock, getting buses left, right, and
How
centre.
many of them were there? There was none of them. There was a couple of hundred of them there. They weren't even going to the game.
No, but you have to. There's Shamrock fans too who would have been changing their day as well. So you have to kind of,
Yeah, okay. Let's have our bellies rubbed by Shamrock Rovers and their supporters. Come on.
I just think that you're being. I just think that if you're going to say have a rant, at least have a rant that's logical.
Nice, Decky. You have the lava up here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have very little pity for Shamrock Rovers fans, to be honest, in all this. That's just me. That's just the way I was raised. Sorry. Sorry if anyone's offended by that. But I guess just on our statement again, Dick, the one thing that marked me a little bit about it, and I know there's, travelling back from Dublin and everything else, but it's not even on our website or on our app. It's now buried, gone. we put it up on it as a multi-tweet post on social media. As soon as that was put out, then we've gone straight on now to ramping up sales and tickets for the Bohs game on Friday. Like, it's gone. Like, you go on the website, you can't see anything at all about the Shamrock Rovers game, that it was even called off, or why it was called off, or what our statement was. So, like, you know, anyone I talked to about it today, they were like, and did Cork City say anything about it? And I was like, oh yeah, there's a statement. They couldn't find any statements, and they were like, where is it? So I can, you know, have to go digging on social media profiles and stuff. Just, you know, we should just be a bit firmer about this. And this should have been, a statement should have been harsher, up on our website, sent out to all the media in Cork and whatever. Someone should have been on, you know, local and national radio this morning. I know Darren O'Keefe from FORAS was on, and, you know, no one at all speaking from the club on it in any kind of outspoken way is a bit disappointing.
But Decky, you know, it's a business now, and businesses bury information. They bury bad news, and exactly what we've been doing. Like, we need to remove ourselves from this being a football club anymore. It's a business first and foremost.
I know,
and that's guaranteed. That's what they're thinking: is bury the bad news, move on. Let's get good news rolling again. And that's not how football works, unfortunately.
Exactly. This is a marketing opportunity, as I see it. Like, it's a marketing opportunity for the Bohs game, as in, like, you know, it's us against them, and like, we're, you know, down here in Cork and we're being hard done by again, and we got screwed on Sunday, and now is a chance, like, we can, you know, show everyone what we're all about on Friday night, come out and support the lads. Like, you know, some kind of goodwill gesture maybe for the fans that travelled up. I don't know how that could even be arranged. Speaking of goodwill gestures, fair play to Stephen as well in the corner flag. I know he's offered something for fans on Friday night as well before the Bohs game, so I won't misquote his offer. If anyone wants to check that, go onto the corner flag Facebook or Twitter.
There'll be screenshots flying around of those tickets left, right and
Free
centre.
beer for all.
I'll just urge anyone to not absolutely take the piss, in fairness to Steve. Like, he's taking money out of his own pocket there to look after City fans, and fair play to him. Like, just no one take the piss there. Like, and just, you know, if you were generally hard done by on Sunday, head into him on Friday night before the Bohs game and get your free drink, and you know, he look after you. He always looked after City fans, so fair play to him.
If you were still chairman, what would you do in this situation?
I'd absolutely go to town with the statement, media, screaming, punching, kicking as much as possible. But again, that's just me. With the backing of the board, of course. Like, I would have gone full gung-ho, and I think we would have, to be honest, with the lads that I was on the board with. I don't think they would have accepted this, to be honest, and they'd have been
for City fans. Would you have done anything?
Oh, for City fans, yeah, definitely. I think we would have looked at something. Obviously, budgets and things like that would have been highly constrained under FORAS, and, you know, that's where it's tricky for us. Maybe not so tricky, you know, for the club as things are right now. But yeah, we definitely looked at something, all right. And you know, obviously we were fans ourselves and running the club as a supporters-owned club, and we would have looked after supporters that went up and were hard done by. I know something was done like this as well, like a few years ago when we got hammered by Dundalk. I think was there something about, like, so the club has been shown to do stuff like that before. So just
there was about 10 fans in Dundalk when we got beat like 5-0. So yeah,
Fair
I don't, and I still never claimed the money back for that. So look, Decky, you're looking to come in.
No, I was just going to say, can we not do even something simple, like just give free entry to the Bohs game on Friday night to anybody who has a ticket from Tal on Sunday? So it's very simple. It's very easy, you know.
But there's a little bit to it, Deck, in the sense of, like, is it up to the club to bail out the FAI again on this? And just, you know, will the FAI again just see it as, sure, it's grand, you know, Cork City will sort out their own fans? Or, you know, I've heard whispers as well, maybe, of, like, fans asking FORAS to look after City's fans as well, using the small pot of funds that they have left. And
looking for FORAS to look at, like, so FORAS don't enter the equation in any way, shape, or form.
I agree.
That's mad. Anyway, that's cuckoo stuff, in my opinion.
But you know, look, at the end of the day, I think it's the FAI should be held fully accountable for this, and yeah, I don't think anyone should be really putting their hands in their pockets as such. But, you know, unfortunately,
we can't be nice to the FAI in a statement and do nothing. You do one or the other. You either be harsh to the FAI and do nothing, or you be nice to the FAI and you cover it. You can't just
exactly. Yeah,
we're just sitting in no man's land there. Like, it's ridiculous.
Firmly on the fence, Wayne. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just like we always are, it seems, in these types of situations.
Wayne, what would you do now? Shamrock coming down to Turner's Cross next. Lock him out the change room.
You do it. You absolutely do as much as you can to put the heating right up, or if it's freezing, don't put it on. Cold showers, the whole lot. But we won't do that. You see, we're going to embrace them. We're going to tickle their little chins and we're going to have them in the VIP room and everything. That's what's going to happen. And it's ridiculous. And this is why we will never be the team we were back in 2005, 2017. We're just too nice of a club now, on and off the pitch. We should have battered them. We should have gone after them. And I would have offered, if it's a ticket to the Bohs game. It's just a nice gesture for a time when the club needs absolute good PR. But instead of going after the bad guys, we're going to treat our own fans again, and we're going to be... I just don't understand the mentality of this club of basically shafting your own, but leaving off the people who are shafting you. You know? That's just me.
Decky, where do you think we go from here?
I don't think we'll go anywhere. Genuinely, like as I said, I don't think anything goes anywhere. I think in a week's time it's completely forgotten about and everybody moves on. As I said, in situations like this, it takes big people to admit they were wrong. There's nobody big enough in the FAI to say, hold their hands up and say, look lads, we made a balls of this. We were wrong. Shamrock Rovers aren't going to go near it. Cork City are going to feel like that they have nothing to apologise for and nothing to do with it. So it's just going to be left to fester. There'll be a little bit between the fan bases for 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. And it'll be all forgotten about until Declan Carey, and you might explain this to me, the game gets refixed. Do we get a say when the game gets refixed for? And do we have an input into the date, time, etc.? Or does the league office contact us and say, you're away to Shamrock Rovers on this Monday night at 7:45, having been away to Derry on the Friday night or having been away in Sligo on the Friday night, and the whole thing gets turned around and we get shafted a second time?
Yeah, unfortunately, as the league decide on the fixtures and the dates of games, Deck, but obviously in the planning the fixtures, you let them know your general preferred kickoff time and things like that. But when there's fixture congestion and all that, you're at the mercy of the league. I would hope, given this absolute shit show of a situation, that we're at least consulted, and we generally would be in the past because, as you said, I guess the reason we do sit on the fence a little bit sometimes is to make sure that we have a say when these types of conversations come around, and that we're not just completely shafted like the Monday after an away game to Derry on a Friday. But yeah, I think we'll at best be consulted and told when the fixture is on. So it'll be very interesting to see now how that plays out, to be honest. I'll be watching that one with close attention.
Wayne, if you're Tim Clancy, what do you say to the press next time you speak to them?
So what can he say? Gone are the days Enrico is busting doors down and saying we're getting rid of rock solid. He just can't do that anymore. A, because I don't think the co-ownership of the club will allow it. And B, I think does he want the heat? I don't know. We'll see how we get on with Bohs. If we beat Bohs, it is forgotten. If we lose to Bohs, do the excuses start coming out? I don't know. I don't think Tim Clancy's like that. I think he's always a few steps ahead. I'm just disappointed that we didn't not go after them, but at least put a strong foot down. We should have, and we didn't. And as Decky says, it'll be forgotten. Friday's a big game for us now. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Decky?
I think Tim, obviously he has his press conference on Wednesday. I think Tim will go after them on Wednesday. I think he will in the press conference. I think he's in touch with the fan base. He knows how the fan base see things. He knows how the fan base feel about this particular subject. And I would expect him, no, he's not going to go 2 foot him at the knees, but I would certainly expect him to be critical of the FAI, critical of the Shamrock Rovers, and probably critical of the referee as well, without saying enough to get himself in trouble, or without saying enough to get the club in trouble, and participation agreements and whatever other crap that has to be signed, so which basically means you can't speak ill of the FAI. I think he'll tread that line, but I would expect him to. He's just that kind of character, and I think he said nothing last year because there was no reason to. I think he's going to have the fans' backs here, and I would expect to hear from him stronger than we have heard from anybody else on the subject so far.
Okay, well, are we happy enough to park that one, or does anyone on the final say on it?
Yeah, I'll just finish with KOH.
All right.
Forbidden words.
Time to move on, and it's time to head for Academy Watch. All right, our under-20s beat the Finger Lickers 2-0. David Dunn was the goal scorer, as well as Liam Quinn, who scored on his birthday. Our under-17s beat the Finger Lickers 11-0. The goal scorers were Dylan O'Connell, Charlie Hanover, Evan Pilo, Luke Hurley, Donal O'Connor and Tom McGrath. Under 15s beat the Fingerlickers 3-1. It was a bad day for the Fingerlickers. Tristan O'Driscoll, Fionn Rickson and Dean O'Halloran with the goals there. And our under 14s beat the Fingerlickers 3-2. Matko Simic, hope I pronounced that right, Kieran McCarthy and Tom Mulconroy. This is, of course, where it normally go straight into Commie Watch. But for the special day that's in it, we've decided to go with Shamnanigans.
Nothing for that, like.
I just thought you were going to take Commie Watch intro anyway.
All right, I can't get too bad, yeah. Sorry, I didn't know. I was just
I'm Draco on the other Three Amigos podcast.
I must say, the comedic timing on that was impeccable.
It's a gift.
Was impeccable.
It's a gift. It's a gift.
The Arc Cinema, we've done a deal with the Arc Cinema in town and the Old Gate Cinema there on North Main Street. Looks like a great thing. Wayne Mullins, do you hope to get there maybe a few times during the season?
Not my scene. It's a great idea for people who like don't have a few pints or just go with the family. Nice idea. I think it'll work. But it wouldn't be my scene, I don't think.
Mr. Careman, would it be yours?
No, again, like I much prefer the grittiness of going to the games if I possibly can, and that would just be my style. Obviously, family and things like that no prevent me from going to away games in the same way that I might have in the past. But yeah, like I noticed from the announcement that it says select away games, so I'm not sure if this is going to be a consistent thing. And look, maybe it'll be something that might suit some families every now and again. But for me, going to a League of Ireland away game or watching it, it doesn't scream giant Coke Zero and a popcorn and packing of Maltesers. I don't know. It's just not me. Like, I don't know.
I get you. It seems like a great idea anyway.
Yeah.
I probably do worry, like, it'll be a big thing at the start and then maybe over the course of the season, less and less. And then by the end.
Yeah. Be interesting to see. Yeah, interesting to see how it plays out and what kind of audiences it attracts initially. But again, a good idea, as I said, as Wayne said. I like these kind of ideas. The different events that the club are running, and this is one now that actually ties into the football for a change. So, like, yeah, let's see how it plays out. And
oh shit,
that wasn't a joke, Wayne, was it? I don't know. Maybe I said it in a humorous way, but yeah, no. Let's see how it plays out. Good, kudos to the club and the Arcs for getting together on this and. It might lead to bigger things as well. They're a pretty big company, so yeah, happy days.
So positive, but we can't be arsed going. Decky, the hope on the cinema.
I'll go, because I'll tell you why I'll go. Like, I think it's a good idea. I think all these things are worth trying, and look, great idea. I'll go because I want to see a couple of corner boys or a couple of commandos or whatever it might be when we go 1-0 down in the 89th minute away in Derry or, up in Sligo or somewhere, just horsing bottles of Coke at the screen, fucking bags of popcorn left, right and centre. Decky mentioned Maltesers hopping off walls, because
I know that's just because the stream went down.
Yeah, what's going to happen when there's a contentious decision? Rob Harvey makes another gammy decision somewhere in some away game some night. And the whole, like, I don't know how many people have been listening, they all crack up and, there's people in next door watching Moana 2 or whatever it might be. And all they can hear out of Cinema 1 is 60 or 70 fellas roaring and shouting about Rob Harvey having no fodder and, shove his cards up his hole and the rest of it. Like, it's going to be an interesting experience. Definitely an interesting experience. Like the lad who rocks up to the 9:30 showing or the 8:30 showing with his old doll of whatever, Bridget Jones 7 or 8 or whatever it might be for the old romantic film, like, and all they can hear in the cinema next door is young fellas of 15 or 16, as I said, talking about Rob Harvey's lack of a father and whatever else might be happening around the place. Like, it puts a different dynamic in the cinema. Definitely puts a different dynamic.
Everyone here was here thinking it was a pure wholesome event, but now you've just changed it sinister.
I tell you that. It's like, what do you think is going to happen?
I think as well, lads, just on the, like, I presume they're going to be using LOI TV for this. Like, do you really see LOI TV? Forget about the fact that it'll probably crash anyway the first game because Murphy's Law. But do you really see it as a kind of a cinema style production? Like, you go to the cinema, you've got the Dolby surround sound and all the effects and whatever. Like, you're in a giant room looking at a blurry, feed of a game with one, max two cameras. Like, it's not like you're going watching, look, dare I say, like Liverpool and Man City there on Saturday with their, state-of-the-art coverage and everything else. And, like, it just, relying on something like this, relying on LOI TV for something like this as well. Look, wait.
It's free. It's free, is it?
Oh, God, no, I couldn't see it being free.
Well, I haven't seen ticket prices released anyway.
No, it's
They're hardly going to charge 15 quid in, are they? Come on.
We ain't stop being a shithouse now.
I'm just saying, if you go to the cinema, you get the popcorn, you could obviously have a deal with the cinema about getting people in. You couldn't be charging 15 quid in to watch this in a cinema.
25?
What was that you said about businesses earlier?
I know, but, like, come on, we're not, like, surely.
Well, here's the thing, though, and I guess we can say this now, Wayne, but remember last year when we exchanged a couple of emails with the FAI, where we inquired about whether we could hire a location and show the games using LOI TV, etc., and we were told we needed a special license and etc., etc., and there would be extra costs to that, and it would have to be borne by the venue and not by us, etc. And it just wasn't viable to do it. I presume those kind of rules that were laid out to us would more or less still be in existence. So therefore there is a cost to it. Of course there's a cost to it. Of course it's going to cost you for a ticket to watch it in the cinema. For once, I'm not the negative one. I actually think it's an idea worth doing and worth pursuing, and it will be interesting to see how it goes. But the idea that it might be free, I think, is complete nonsense, like, to be honest.
Sure, there's a charity partner too, is there?
You'd hope so, Wayne. But Dick, do you honestly think, this is probably a rhetorical question, like, do you honestly think the FAI have, like, large-scale streaming license options available for pubs and things? I mean,
we were quoted a price, weren't we, Decky?
We were quoted a price. We were. I'll have to go back.
$1 million.
€300 or €500, was it?
Let me have it. Was it 500? Was it? Let me have a dig. Talk amongst yourselves there for a minute. I'll see if I can find the.
How will they get the full match day experience into the cinema? Rusted urinals, a baked potato outlet down below with the popcorn.
They'll have the little pub icon then on the bottom right, so you make sure that it's not being illegally streamed. Like, this is look, we are talking about, like, we spent 20 minutes at the start of the pod with this crew. Like,
this is a dig at the club. This is a dig at
LOI TV.
No.
Yeah.
This was our positive part of the podcast. Like, Christ.
No kids, or your kids wouldn't have an interest in going, as I try to fill time while Decky's getting up that quota.
Well, I had a very upset child on Sunday that he couldn't watch the Cork City game because it was on at 6:00, and then he quickly forgot about it. So it was grand.
My 18-month-old, so same way. It was either that or nappy rash, but yeah.
Read it out, Decky. Read the whole lot out.
Basically, we emailed and asked them, is there a commercial rate that can be paid for use of LOI TV that allows a group to profit on the back of using the service, etc., etc. So they came back and said, yes, there is a commercial license which is just put together, which costs €500 for the season. And then, the rest of it can't be read out, to be honest. But, 500 quid for the season was the price we were quoted last year. But we weren't doing the season. We were just doing a one-off event. But they were still going to charge us 500, which just made it not doable. But whether we would be quoted the same pricing that league clubs would be, because obviously the FAI represent the clubs, and the clubs are part of the FAI grouping. So they're, you'd imagine, getting a better rate than an upstart podcast with unaccredited people involved in it would be getting.
The Celtic game looks closer to happening. It was reported in the Echo earlier today. Are we getting excited for this one, Wayne, or do you think it's just
excited.
A day for the bandwagoners?
I'm very excited if it's done right. If you can get one section of terracing, just City fans, singing with flags and flares and the whole lot, it makes us look really good. If we just hand out tickets and cater for the Celtic fans, it's going to look terrible in Cork City. They're a tin pot club. I'm going to go because I think it's a nice stadium. I think it'd be great. I think it's a landmark time for Cork City to play in Park Equive, and I think it sets the future for us if we ever get into Europe in the qualifying round or the group stages. We can play there. So I think it's bigger than just a Celtic friendly. Do I think we'll take advantage of it? No. I personally think this is just a pure money-making exercise, and I don't think we've any long-term vision of what we could do with it. I hope I'm wrong, but I think...
Are you just trying to say what? You use it as an advertising method? Like,
I think we should use it as,
and,
look at us, we're Cork City, come watch us play, rather than just taking a quick $100,000 and moving off. You know, I know it's hard, I know it takes time, but there's plenty of people who could help with this. There's plenty of people who could push this game as a pro Cork City event rather than Celtic coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's not take it as a friendly. Let's take it as a proper game. Get the fans out there, and let's actually just create something special that could snowball.
I suppose it depends on if it's going to be Celtic's first team or not. If the big name players are going to be playing. And nice, Decky. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know where you're getting the $100,000 from, Wayne. Anyway, I'd be hoping for considerably more income from a game like this. Maybe if it was on in Turner's Cross, you might be thinking like $100,000 or in around that much. I'd be talking much more, exponentially higher in terms of income for the club, which is why I'm willing to give him more of a pass, I guess, in terms of the whole aspect that you covered there, Wayne. Like I can see all the other bells and whistles surrounding this. Look, it'll be in the summertime. I'm sure there'll be a golf day and there'll be this and that. And is Roy Keane doing something in the marquee as well around similar time? So I'm not sure if that's actually confirmed because we're still waiting on the date. But I'm sure there'll be a luncheon with him probably or something like that, and all this kind of stuff. Look, maximize the money from it, I would say, and just move on. Get the game played, get the money in. I know what you're saying, Wayne, as well, but I think at the end of the day, there's League of Ireland fans and there's League of Ireland fans that will dip in and out the odd time, and at best, that's where you're going to get that go to the game, and it'll be full of Barstoolers and it'll be full of United and Celtic fans and Liverpool fans and whatever. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is, and they'll finish after the game saying, "Geez, Cork City weren't great, were they? Geez, I don't know, will I go out there?"
I love that though. Go out with your city top and you see all these Celtic fans from the north side. And,
oh yeah, I agree with you.
And I just love shoving it in their faces like that, And if we scored a goal, I'd be like, I don't know. I just think there's a take the money, great, but why not try and enhance the reputation of the club while we're at it?
How much do you think the tickets will be?
I think it'd be 50 quid, and I think a child would be 25, 30, a teenager child. That's what I think. And a family's probably 150 quid, 120 quid, maybe, I don't know.
If that's the case, then I can see why genuine City fans wouldn't bother their arse going.
It happened in 2001. We played Celtic in Turns Cross, and I did an old dig on foot.ie, went back about 147 pages and found it. And most City fans didn't go. There was a couple that went, and they were like, "I'm not going to that," because it was a £30 a ticket.
I think a lot will now. I feel like there's probably a mood shift since then. I think
the fact it's in Park Equive is huge. I think we're underestimating it because it's that potential for us to play there in Europe if we get there in a few years. Like, Christ, imagine having to go to TOTAP to play in Europe. Like, it would be horrendous. Yeah. I'd find it so hard to do.
You'd hope there's something done for season ticket holders anyway, like that they get a discounted ticket or something, like maybe 30 or 40 quid, or a family gets an option to buy 3 or 4 tickets at a discounted price. Look after our own fans. There's not many season ticket holders anyway, like 700 out of them.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah.
I don't think this is marketed for Cork City supporters at all. I don't expect it to be. I think this is for the bandwagoners, the barstoolers, Celtic fans who might want to come from Scotland in the middle of the summer and have a nice weekend away. That's the target audience for. And I'll be honest with you, I don't see a whole pile wrong with that. 50 quid a ticket. I think you can sell 40,000 tickets. I don't really see a situation whereby you don't. I guess the key to it is it Celtic's only game in Ireland? If it is, then I think it's an exceptionally easy sell. If they end up playing Shamrock Rovers in the Aviva or something like that, then it becomes much harder, because if it's the only game in Ireland, then the Celtic supporters clubs from Dublin travel, from all up the country they travel. If there's another option of a second game in Dublin, obviously Dermot Desmond has a stake in Shamrock Rovers. Would they come to Cork without going to play Shamrock Rovers in Dublin? Who knows? I'm going to, genuinely, who knows? I kind of would suspect that they might. Second game takes away all those supporters clubs up the country because they all go to Dublin instead of coming to Cork. So do we have an exclusive agreement with Celtic? I don't know, but I think if we did, then I think you sell 40,000, you sell out the park at 50 quid a head, no problem. And it's a massive money making venture, and we drive on. I don't have any issue with it at all. I won't be going, but I don't have an issue with it.
Nice, Decky.
Yeah, I think I might be wrong on this. I think Celtic went to the USA last year for their pre-season tour. So I think they played Man City, and did they play one MLS team? To my knowledge, I only know this because I work with someone who's a diehard Celtic fan. She's actually from Glasgow, so like I'm not a fan myself. For anyone who's wondering, but I would see them potentially playing a handful of games while they get the team on a plane. Maybe do a training camp in FOTA, play us, go up to Dublin, play Rovers. I can definitely see that happening. I would be shocked and very impressed if we managed to secure exclusive rights for them to play us as the only Irish team in the summer.
I think no matter what, the cost to us will be extensive. They're not coming cheap. As you said, they were in the United States last year. They may still be heading off on a tour. This might be flying back from the States. We'll stop in Ireland on the way home. There could be an element of that. So who knows? There's huge money to be made for clubs on pre-season tours. I have a feeling this might be a stop on the way home kind of a thing. When is it? The 27th of July, did I see? I don't want to say the date, and I guess I'm wrong.
I thought it was the 9th.
Yeah, this is my issue. 9th. The 9th is very, very early in pre-season. Very early.
That's very early, yeah. So that's before. They will go on a pre-season tour. They'll go on a pre-season tour after that, Scotty. So 9th of July is very early. It is very early.
And the question is, will the top players be there that early? That's the worry.
They're playing Newcastle, I think, in July 19th. I just read an article there. Celtic begin planning for 25-26 season. So, they're beginning to organise their pre-season schedule.
Sure, it'll probably sell out regardless, just because of the name, just because that's a home.
So that's a home friendly against Newcastle United on Celtic Park, July 19th, apparently here, according to some Celtic website I just Googled. But yeah, so we'll know soon enough. We can
hopefully we'll move it on. The FORAS AGM again. Nice, Decky. We'll stick with you here. Can you talk us through that one?
Yeah, it was held last Thursday. Then obviously they don't have as much glamour as they once had back in the day with the media sending moles and things like that when we were giving out like dishy financial figures and stuff like that. But obviously the numbers that attend these things aren't as high as they once were now that FORAS doesn't own the club. But I thought it was a good meeting myself personally. I won't speak too much about what actually was said in the meeting and whatnot, but I think it's very important that FORAS stake their place and define what they want to be now going forward. I think obviously they handed over ownership now well over 2 years ago, so it's about time now. I think they established their identity, and look, it was great to see the statement that they put out over the weekend as well after the game was called off, and I think there's plans for further statements around ticketing pricing and things like that. So I'm told on the grapevine, so we'll wait and see. I guess it's an opportunity. I think there is a gap there for an official supporters grouping of some kind to be the voice of supporters. And look, they can start off with being the voice of its own members. There's a couple of hundred members still fully paid up, contributing financially to FORAS. So there's a chance to build a nice little pot there as well. And look, finally, for me on it, I just want to say massive, kudos to Gar Fleming. He stepped down from the board of FORAS after 6 years, and he deserves his flowers as well. He, stayed on the board of FORAS even after the transfer of ownership, and, fair play to him. He was secretary at such crucial times there, especially during, things like the involvement with Grovemore and, all the stuff that went on during the pandemic and the eventual takeover as well, like such a critical role as secretary of the trust. So fair play to him. He deserves his break from it all now and go back to just enjoying games, which I'm sure he has already. But yeah, fair play to him. So
How can people join FORAS if they want to?
Yeah, you can just go on the FORAS website then and sign up. I'm just a member now, like everyone else too. But yeah, you can just join now and sign up. It's open, and yeah, you can actively start contributing. I would like to see them, define a mission statement and put their goals out publicly so that the general public can get an idea what the trust is all about. So hopefully we see something like that soon. But yeah, it's open to all, and yeah, forastrust.ie.
Wayne, I think you were looking to come in there.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised how many members there still is there. I thought it'd be a lot less, but fair play
I think
to
it's
the people.
close enough to 600, Wayne, but a lot of those have lapsed payments
It
and
was
things like that. I
300
imagine.
paid, wasn't it? It's up to nearly 300 paid.
Yeah, close enough to that. Yeah,
That's
that are
impressive.
still actively contributing money. It is fair play.
So it shows that people still want to be something to happen. But I do think, as a FORAS member, and I suppose I can't talk too much about it, but I think they need to strike what they want to do soon and get it out there and kind of get the ball rolling. I think, because I think 2 years now is long enough to kind of stay in the background.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that was the general consensus last Thursday. So yeah, I think hopefully the board took notice, and I'm sure they will. They're a great bunch of lads. So best of luck to them.
All right, that concludes the first half. So TOTAP will come back to us in the second half. We'll have the mailbag, the Bohs and Waterford previews, as well as the B team. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, toe tapper. As you know, everything is increasing in price. Extra small clothes, anger management classes, raw liver is the same price as gold. And kids' sweets used to have 20 per pack and now only have 5 in each one. And Jack Doherty is on course to score 100 goals. And he's going to bleed us dry. We need you to help the gang by joining our Patreon for exclusive pods, news and much more. For a $5 a month, you can ensure that Wayne doesn't smash up his laptop, that Dan has really small clothes, Eileen is satisfied, and Declan gets lots and lots of jellies. Head to patreon.com/TOTAP to support the cause.
All right, welcome back to part 2 TOTAPper. We are now headed for the mailbag.
Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and in black and white cat.
The cat makes yes.
Early in the morning, a one bag of man is yawning. Him pick up all of the post bag in a heaven.
A real bad man.
Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and he mix up cat.
Team light skin. All of the bird them singing.
Yeah, that's probably enough of that. Richie asks, who bought the last points, Decky or Tim?
Is this going to go on all season? No, is it? I've never drank a pint with Tim Clancy, so nobody bought the last points.
Until we get a picture of you having pints with Tim Clancy next week.
Billy Dorney says, stating the obvious, but need to get a minimum versus the Wokies. A point minimum, versus the Wokies, and 3 points against Waterford at the RSC. It's very doable. Full faith in our lads causing... What were you...
We need to drop this mentality of, we need to get a point at home to Bohs. We need to go out and beat Bohs. We need to go out and beat teams at home. I mean, there's this mentality around the place, we get a draw here and a draw there. Fuck that. Leave that mentality outside. Leave it on the footpath outside Turner's Cross, where all the good people hang out. And just let's bring a winning mentality into the ground. We need to go and beat Bohs on Friday night.
You predicted we finished 8th.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm going out to the Bohs game looking for a draw or thinking we need to get a point. No, we need to beat them.
I agree. We have to go with the mentality of beating them and sitting and packing and laugh at them while they're going. Like, we have to just go out there and all guns blazing.
Ian Crowley asks, is the lack of quality stadia in Ireland having a negative effect on the flow of games? You have certain stadiums being overused, leading to poor pitch conditions. Nice, Decky, we'll go to you here.
Yeah, I think I hope we're out of the worst of this, because, look, to be fair, we've had some nasty storms and whatnot, but I think, with the EA Sports Cup now practically gone, like we are playing less fixtures than we would have been pre-pandemic. So like, I'm just wondering, is there something that we can do to not have as many games as early in February as we currently do? Like maybe that's something that we can look at for next season. But look, the stadium situation, look, I think there's more and more clubs popping up that are upgrading to like those 4G and 5G pitches. I think it's probably inevitable that will continue to grow across the league. It wouldn't shock me even to see it in Turner's Cross in maybe the next like 5 to 10 years. But yeah, I think that's probably something we have to look at. Especially most grounds in the league have more than their Senior League of Ireland men's team playing there, and that's just unfortunately the way things are with the facilities that we have. So yeah, I think as we grow more and add more and more teams and grow our academies, I think it's all just going to have more and more of a strain.
Yeah, could I just make a proposal that we put the MFA in charge of Tallaght Stadium? And that will ensure that the women never play there. So that will ease the burden.
Val Maguire says, why did they cancel the game 30 minutes before kickoff yesterday evening? Anyone care to take that one?
They didn't cancel the game. Decky gave the full match report at the start of the pod.
CL 2023 says, why don't the club advertise when merch sells out? Gokwain, any thoughts on that one?
Business sense looks bad if you do that. But yeah, I agree. Like if it's out, like the online stores only place these days, but probably online stores you can't check the sizes. I don't know. I thought we all got the stuff all in a big batch, Decky. Did we not get it all in one go?
I'd imagine we did, Wayne. But look, the best places to track the stock anyway. This is insider knowledge here, so to speak. But the stock levels on the online store are identical to what's in the shop in Douglas. So like, yeah, if it's in stock on the website, there's a fairly strong chance you can run across to Douglas and grab it. But I think this problem is probably compounded when if you go a bit deeper on the sizing issue with the clothes and the stuff, is like people are going into the shop to try on the new hoodie or try on whatever, and then it's not even available in their size or it's gone. And your regular fan won't realise as well that they can check stock levels on the Cork City website. So yeah, that's probably where all this is coming from. It's unfortunate. I'm hearing more and more about these sizing issues, sizing up, sizing down. Everyone has the laugh and joke. Ha ha ha! I had too many selection boxes at Christmas, but like, I don't think so. Like, it's hopefully something we'll sort out now in future runs of merchandise from Pakistan.
Yeah, mine arrived last week, and it's a titty tank top, basically. That's how it arrives. And even if I lose a couple of stone, I'd say it'd still be a surf suit, whatever they call them, wetsuits.
It wasn't one of the ones from AliExpress, Wayne, was it?
I know. I checked them both. I know someone who bought one, so I checked them both. And yeah, there's a difference, all right. But still, I like the jersey, but I just thought we could have done more with it. But look, it's still nice.
Yeah. I think it's early signs are generally positive. I'll stay positive about the Rebel Army clothing line.
Absolutely.
I think it's off to look. There has been a few ropey moments with the stuff appearing on Alibaba or AliExpress or wherever the hell it was. Look, thankfully, it looks like the club has got that taken down. But I don't think you can stop that now from the acceleration that those counterfeit merchandise crews can get. But and then the sizing stuff as well. But generally, it seems the reaction's overall positive to the look of it and the feel of it. So look, we'll take the positives.
It's only a good thing. Roy O'Sullivan says lots of City fans getting off the train in Houston yesterday. Spotted loads of them in the new hoodie. What do you think has been our most successful ever bit of merch in the club's history?
Whose idea was that, actually?
It was the Brian Lennox era, yeah. But allegedly, no. I think there was an accidental zero added to the order quantity. So, yeah. Allegedly, I don't know. Look, yeah. I think they eventually sold out. We were still selling them, actually, in like 2020 and 2021. We found a batch of them in Bishopstown. My favourite of all time is the black jersey from 2019. Oh my God, the crack we had with that, and it sold thousands of jerseys. Remember the elevators when in Douglas Village, and the purposeful leak and everything, like, and WhatsApp groups on fire because they all had the exclusive picture. Like, we used WhatsApp as a marketing tactic, knowing that people would just be obsessed with spreading it far and wide. And we worked with Douglas Village as well to make sure that they put the elevator vinyls on a day
You
early.
got very upset though when it was leaked in Soho, the green jersey.
That wasn't me. That was 2017. I had no involvement. Yeah, the 2017 double winning jersey on the table. Yeah. We actually took inspiration from that because that went so far and wide. We were like, what if we purposely leaked the black one?
Did you ever find out who the leak was?
What bastards leaked that? Like,
I know who it was.
The green one. Oh, I know too. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. He told me.
What did he?
Side in Brick Lane there one night.
You're giving it away now by saying where you were.
Go on, Gakwain. Give us what do you think the club's most successful bit of merch has been?
If we had that 1989 one, no, it would knock it all, every jersey on the planet off, I think. I don't know, really. I think all our stuff has been quite decent over the years. But I think now we're trying something different. And as Decky said, I like the whole Rebel Army clothing idea. I think it's working. And if we get the sizing right, it'll be brilliant. It'll be absolutely brilliant. So fingers crossed. It's something good. And we're getting little batches of stuff. They're obviously testing to see what sells more. They know a hoodie's going to sell, so they need to start getting different colour hoodies, different types. That'll sell.
Is there another jersey coming? Like, I know we have the home one and the orange one. Did I hear rumours of a third?
Insert church here.
There's 4.
Yeah.
There's 4 in total, isn't there? There's an
no
away
way.
one.
There was another one as well.
Then a cup
retro
one as well. Or some cup one.
The pajama one.
What was the insert church one again?
Remember, it's the black with the orange reverse, and then the Turner's Cross in grey, allegedly, on the jersey. Where am I here? Philly Crowley, surely the FAI should provide free buses/train to the rearranged fixture for those who travelled. With Cahill out, should they push Shawnee White with Keats through the middle then on a separate note? We'll start with the first part first anyway. The FAI aren't providing they're not. What do you think about the Cahill thing, Decky? With Cahill out, should they push Shawnee White and Keats through the middle? That's what they were going to do.
That's what they were doing away at Shamrock Rovers the other night anyway. I take it because Sean Murray wasn't going to play wide, so it had to be that way. I would imagine, see, home to Bohs now. I'm not sure he'll go with a 4-5-1 at home to Bohs. I think he might go back to his 4-4-2. So, it would be interesting to see what he would do out wide. Bohs are strong in the middle of the park though, with Devoy and Ross Tierney, and they have a couple of good playmakers in there. So maybe he will go with the 4-5-1 just to try and kill the space in the centre of the park. So I think Shawnee wide if you're going with the 4-5-1.
Mallow train station employee of the month says, can the chairman give some insight into how rearranged kickoff times work for scheduled games? Someone said on the club's Twitter that it's at the discretion of the host club whether aside yesterday's fixture was fixed for a time not suitable for many travelling supporters. I think already quickly, Dick, it's already something you touched on, but no is the answer.
Yeah, no, it's the league ultimately, and I think it's something we just, again, as I said, I have to keep a super close eye on now. I've been involved in some of these situations before. I remember there was a tricky one we had as the year we won the first division. We had an away game with Waterford to refix, and that was a bit of a tricky one, back and forth, trying to find the right day and time that suited both managers and both clubs. It was a home game against Waterford. And it was a tricky one to try and squeeze in, and there was a lot of back and forth on that. But eventually, I think the league laid down the law on that one, and that's my main experience with it. But I think it's the league really are accountable. They set the fixtures and the dates and times.
That was the night Waterford had to win to have any chance of winning the league, and your man was sent off early, and they drew 0-0, and Skeletor, I can't think of his name, who was managing him at the time, celebrated like he was after winning the league, when in fact they had ensured that they couldn't win the league. And then he tried to get stuck in Cian Murphy. And when I went on Twitter, he was after blocking me on Twitter without ever having any interaction with him. And if you remember his name, I genuinely can't remember his name. He was
Paul
from England.
Stephen Skeletor, isn't it? You got it.
Yeah, he looked like Skeletor. He had that Skeletor face.
Yeah, no, I remember the guy. All right. Yeah, he's long gone now, though.
Yeah, nobody ever heard of him again.
Yeah.
And I'm still here.
Ian-
So
Ian Draper says, you mentioned last week about the price of food at the Clonakilty stall. Last year, I was at the game in Bromley and got a hot dog for £6. Better value. Okay, no question there. But anyway, Garrett Shirts, only water, Barry. The club had to predict the score for the Galway game. Still waiting to find out who won. Or does anyone know if the person was named? I asked the club, but it's like asking God for absolution. No. But I presume the person was contacted directly anyway by DM or such on Instagram.
Danny Searle, Decky.
Danny Searle is right. That's who it was. Can I just ask, because you just put something in my head, Dan, did any of you see if the club were offering a prize for whoever would be top of their fantasy football league after week 1? Because if they were, right, if they were, they owe me a prize, like, because I was top dog week 1, which didn't get a mention last week. But as I said, if the club had offered a prize, I don't know whether they had or not. But if they had, look, I'm available to do it on the pitch on Friday night. Whatever the presentation is, I'm happy to accept it on the pitch.
You can give Keats his golf trophy from 23 as well.
We owe two players MVP trophies, like Keats from the year before and Carl from last year.
Ryan Healy says Watford's shit website for the tickets for Monday. Oh, I've seen some screenshots from this. Decky, do you have your ticket yet?
Yeah, I have. No, no. Have they gone on general sale yet? I got one on general sale. Yeah. I'm heading down next Monday night, and I got one on the general sale, so I'm sorted. Yeah, thanks very much.
What's going on here?
They use some kind of UK website, eticketing.co.uk/Waterford FC. What the?
No, Cork City were selling the
Decky's
away
been coy
tickets.
about something though.
Yeah, Decky's
they were on
been very
sale.
Tim Clancy about this now. What's going on?
If you give me a chance, I'll fucking tell you. Like they were on sale to Cork City season ticket holders first, and then they were going on sale to general sale to Cork City fans afterwards. Cork City are controlling the sale of Waterford away tickets for some reason, not Waterford. So I got one on general sale. I didn't get one in the season ticket sale because I'm not a season ticket holder.
Duh.
For any City fans listening, adults are €20, over 65s 14, under 12s 7, youths €12. A young adult looks like kind of a college student, €14. So, yeah, interesting. The petrol down to Waterford and the ticket will probably be cheaper than a Cork City home game.
CL 2023 asks, did Wayne infiltrate the FORAS WhatsApp group?
For a split moment, I found a way through the fence, didn't I?
You're a proud FORAS member, Wayne. Jesus, you wouldn't infiltrate.
Colin Sheehan asks, surely there will be something done for the supporters who travelled. Yes, we got a refund. Yes, the flag offered a pint, but not everyone drinks. I seen kids crying over the game. It needs to be justified and explained why it took so long. Sunday was a shambles. As we said already, we probably don't think anything will be done, lads, do we?
No. If it was going to be done, it would have been said by now. If Cork City were doing something, they would have said it by
today
now.
was the day.
Yeah.
Today was the day when we got back from Tala. The emotions have settled down, and we could have put together a potential. That was the last chance as well to kind of really hammer home a statement while giving fans then a goodwill gesture and finishing on a good note for fans. But look, anyway, it's over and done with now, as Deck said. I think it'll be forgotten about.
Right, I'll head into our DMs, assuming we've a kit clash with Derry for the away games, white in brackets, white in both home shirts. Do we release a third kit, or do we seriously play Derry in an orange away kit? Surely somebody has thought of this scenario.
I'm not sure anybody has. I hadn't thought of it until now, to be honest with you.
It's interesting.
Crikey.
When do we play Derry? Please say it's in July.
I'll check there.
But jeez, I'd have to go looking it up.
Would it be so funny if it was March
Someone
this
looking
season?
at for me.
It's the 4th of April, and then we play them away again on the 8th of August.
Oh, boo.
Anyway.
We know DM 3,000 for a team of 3 in the upcoming Golf Classic, and 4,000 to play with an Italian 90 legend. So obviously they must be doing something with the
$4,000.
Where's
Is
that on?
normal?
Well, this just came in by DM.
I don't know.
if it's true or not,
I don't know.
so I
Is
have
that
no
normal?
confirmation. I couldn't tell you. Well, it's presume it's a corporate thing. If you get to play with Italian 90 legend as well, there'll probably be places that'll pay it. Like,
Yeah,
Here's the thing, I
Payton,
don't
like,
mind that.
Jesus.
Like, yeah, it's not aimed at us. It's not aimed at individuals. As they said, it's aimed at corporates. If they're willing to spend $3,000 for their employees or $4,000 to play with, I don't know, who was it, Italian 90? Whoever was there, Mick McCarthy, Dave O'Leary, whoever it might be. If you want to pay $4,000 to play golf with them, fair dues to the
I'm
club.
not giving
if
out
they
because
can
I'm
get people
shocked
to play
that's
it.
the price that they pay these days. It's
Yeah, it looks like it's
Yeah.
on in Port Marnock on the 15th of March. Like Cork City FC golf event up the country. And anyway, look.
it's ideas and keep trying stuff, and if it works, it works. But it's just a bit like,
Yeah, look, it's not, as Deck said, it's not for us and not advertised towards your usual Cork City fans.
We play Shelburne on the 14th and we don't play again till the 28th. Could we play that game against Shamrock Rovers on Paddy's Day?
I think I've seen that suggested.
Yeah.
But like, if people already have plans and things like that, like if players are going back home, if say Truce is heading back home to Holland or whatever.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering. It was a question I saw sent.
Maybe
in,
though.
cancel the trips.
I'd say Shamrock Rivers and the FAI have points arranged that day as well. Anyway, like they wouldn't want to disrupt that. Not with each other. Jeez, I wouldn't suggest that. Oh my God.
No, Roar Shams will be Grand Marshalling the Dublin Parade that day, I'd imagine, won't they? after their European achievements this year, so God help us.
We go to Instagram. Duggan, why such a late call? Look, to be fair, I think we already got to that one. Ryan asks, what is the quickest way to get rid of the mafias? Decky, I think you're the strongest on this one.
What's the quickest way to get rid of which, sorry?
The mafias. I presume you can't spell mafia without FAI.
Oh, okay. You can't spell failure without FAI either. Just always remember that. Like, what's the best way to get rid of them? I actually think, like, I've been saying for 2 years that the league needs to break away. People seem to be completely against the idea. There's a League Managers Association coming, so maybe that's an organisation that would be able to put more pressure on the league office, more pressure on the FAI. I think the 5-year deal with Virgin probably strengthens the league and the FAI's hand a little bit, but I would still just be moving on. I'd be taking the league independent, not run by the clubs. I keep saying that. Set up another organisation like the Premier League was set up 25, 30 years ago, whenever it was. Take that model, go and do it, and that's the way I've viewed it for the last 2 or 3 years. And I don't think the more I see, the more it just like, it seems the most natural thing. We brought up something on Last Damas today. I'm already getting feedback, and it's just like, this is another one that might blow up for the FAI over the next couple of weeks, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Like, but it's just a shambles. It's an absolute shambles up
there. City Bible says, anyone know Bradder's reaction when third pitch inspection failed? I'd imagine he wasn't too upset anyway.
There's a gif there where, like, Homer Simpson in the nuclear plant, and Mr. Burns gives in to the strikes and he's on the ground spinning around, like, delighted with himself. I'd imagine it was something like that.
He did a knee slide.
Scott Clinton says, would it have been the same case of being called 20 minutes before the game if it was Rovers fans in Cork? No. Do you think would have ever got to that stage if this was down in Turner's Cross?
No, because the MFA would have just called it off probably the night before.
Mm-hmm. And Ben Shorten 05 asks, is Tim Clancy invited to the wedding, Dan? He sure is. All right, I can see Wayne telling me to wrap up the questions anyway, lads. So sorry to any of our loyal TOTAPers who didn't get their question read out on this week's pod. It was Wayne's fault. Now it is time for the Bohs preview. A strong side anyway from the outing that I seen in the Aviva. Moose and Parsons look a fair strike force, and Decky was already talking about the midfield. Nice, Decky. What are you expecting from this Bohs side now ahead of Friday?
I watched the second half of their Derry game last Friday. I wasn't all that impressed, to be brutally honest. I think they were extremely quiet in the first half. I think both teams were generally quiet. They lost 1-0 to a Duffy free kick. It was a worldly of a goal, to be fair to him. But like, geez, I don't know. Was it the pitch, the conditions? I just think both teams were extremely poor and average. I know there was incidents as well with the management teams from benches, so that's something to maybe keep an eye on Friday as well. But yeah, other than like, I think it was like in the second half, Parsons had a header, I think, that he should have scored from maybe a few minutes in. Bohs had a little spell at the start of the second half where maybe Derry couldn't put their foot in the ball and they were struggling a bit, and Bohs put a little bit of pressure on them. But other than that, I didn't see much. I know, as Deck said, they've got Tierney and Devoy, and they've got handy players, so they could still, I'm not going to write them off on Friday and say it's going to be an easy 3 points for us. But I'd be confident we can get a result. I'm going to go with a prediction of 1-0. I know you would like to do the predictions later, but I think we can take them and we can keep it tight. And I think we learn a lot from the Galway game in terms of the kind of errors we made at set pieces and being organised. So I think Clancy will have worked on that over the last few weeks. And given the break we've had as well, I think that we should have hopefully a fully fit team. I don't know if Cahill will be back. As Deck said earlier, I think we will go 4-5-1, and I think Shawnee will play more of an advanced winger role, similar to like what Salah does at Liverpool. I think he'll be cutting in a lot, and I don't think he'll have too many defensive duties on Friday. So you would hope that we really try to push him with the attacking power that we'll have, and I think we can get a result. I'm going to go 1-0 City, and a nervous end to the game where it's back to the walls perhaps, and we get our first 3 points of the season.
Wayne, 4-5-1, 4-4-2.
I'm always a 4-4-2 man, but I can see why the 4-5-1 would work too. I just think it's important that we get at them early and get the crowd behind them.
Well, we did such a good start against Galway.
We did
hit the post after 30 seconds, and then kind of set the tone for the game. That should have been 3 points on the board for us straight away. Like
it is. I think we need to bully him a bit as well. I think we're too standoffish in Galway. I hope we learned a lesson in Galway against Galway. We need to get stuck in, get at them, and hopefully we need to beat them. I know
Bohs have a better strength of squad than Galway.
They do, but I still think if you get at them, they'd one good game in the Aviva. Let's not over exaggerate and overreact to it either. Yeah, they beat Shamrock, but Shamrock are in the middle of Europe. I think they're there for the taking, and I think if we can, I do worry about like their strikers. They've some decent players come in this season, but look, if we can get Keating and Maguire, they didn't play well against Galway. If we get them on fire, we'd be flying.
Yeah, could be a bit of whose strikers hit the ground running in this one, I guess. Looking at Waterford then on the Monday in the RSC, Declan, we'll go to you here. Well, now, what are you expecting then from that Waterford side?
Not a whole lot, Dan, either, to be honest. I think I'd be hopeful that we at least come out with a minimum of 4 points over this weekend. I think that's what Tim will be hoping for and demanding from the lads as a minimum. So, look, I think I'm not sure when we'll be recording next week. I won't be around. There's a strong chance I won't be around, and it will be unlikely to even see the game. I'll be over in the States.
Wrestle camp?
But no, this is a work trip. Wayne, to be honest, yeah. Maybe a deep dive into the illegal streaming activity that goes on. But yeah, no, I from what I've seen from Waterford and like that pre-season friendly, they were just like all over the place. So like I think, I'd be pretty confident we can get a positive result in the RC as well. I know it's close proximity to the Bohs game, but look, we're at home. It's a fine away trip, hour and a half down the road. I think we can really put it up to them, and yeah, I'd be hoping of a minimum of 4 out of 6.
Wayne, how many goals are we sticking past Brad Wade?
I'm going to go for a 1-0 both games. I'd rather that than like a 4-2, 4-1 win. A clean sheet is vital. If we get 2 in a row, it'll be brilliant. Like a 1-0, job done. Get the fans under, excited and just get the 6 points. It'd be brilliant.
How many do you think is realistic from the next 2 games, though?
We can get 6. Absolutely.
Okay. Dick?
I think we can get 4. I'm confident of 4, and I think there's a strong possibility we can get 6. And this will be like the weekend that really shows that we're not just going to be that team that languishes down in the bottom 3 and barely avoids relegation. I think we'll get positive results against the teams that will hopefully be, around us in the right way for us, in terms of we'll be ahead of them when come the end of the season. But I think Bohs is definitely within our grasp, and Waterford, we should be beating Waterford. I think I know it's an away game, but I don't think they'll have much to offer in terms of their fans and their squad on Monday. I think Tim and the lads will have too much for them on Monday. So. And again, the home game on Friday, hopefully, it'll be a big crowd again. As Wayne said, we're going in unbeaten now. We'll take the positive from the game being called off on Sunday. And Bohs had a tough away trip to Derry last week in tough conditions on an all-weather pitch. So you never know what knocks they could be carrying and things like that. So we'll wait and see.
What do you think, Dan?
I think we get. You know what, I'm feeling. I think this is going to drive the team on. I think we'll get a draw against Bohs. Although I do worry about them. Moose, he will hit form eventually, but hopefully Maguire or Keats hit form as well. And they'll be seriously dangerous for any side they come up against. So a point against Bohs, and I think we'll get the win. I think we'll get the win down in Waterford. I hope to God we do anyway. And then that's a really, very positive start, because suddenly then your first 3 games, you have 5 points, and I think the Galway one will regret a small bit, but we left there on the pitch. But
the thing about a game in hand as well is, even though you haven't got the 3 points, if you're 2 points behind a team with a game in hand, you're always positive, because you consider that to be 3 points. Even though it's Shamrock, if we're on 5 points and we're 2 points behind the next team, we'll always think, that's 3 points in the bag, it's grand. It's always the way it works.
Decky, how many points do you think we're getting out of the next 2 games?
6.
You do think, or are you just saying?
No, I mean, you have to beat Bohs at home, and you can't go down and not win in Waterford. I mean, as I said, we needed to take 10 out of 5. Okay, it's out of 4 now, so what, you need to take 7, 8 out of 4? I think that Bohs side probably have a soft underside to them, a soft underbelly. I think physically we can dominate them, especially around the centre of the park. So I would hope that would be possible. And I would just look to dominate them as best we can. And then you go down to Waterford on a Monday night. There's nothing to scare you in Waterford. Bar the inbred inhabitants of the place, but I mean, on the football pitch, there isn't a whole lot there isn't a whole lot to frighten you, So it is what it is. Yeah, I'd expect to win both games. I think, if you beat Bohs, you go down to Waterford with a lot of confidence, and I think they're 2 games you have to be aiming to win. I know people will say there are 4 points to be grand, but I think no, you have to be aiming for 6 points. You have to be.
All right, I think you spoke about it earlier, and I can't even remember your answer. 4-5-1 or 4-4-2 against Bohs?
I think 4-5-1 and just crowd that middle and keep Dawson Devoy and Ross Tierney quiet in the centre of the park, and you have a massive opportunity to win the game.
Okay. Attendance-wise, what are you expecting, guys? Decky?
Attendance for the Bohs game, 3,500.
3.5. Other Decky?
I'm going 4-1-7-6.
Very precise. Wayne?
I'll go 4-1-7-7 plus.
Over and under. We should take a bet on that, Wayne.
That's true.
All right. We're nearly finished up. I think we just have to check in on our friends down in Queenstown, and then I think we're getting out of here.
Checking in now? I don't even know where this is.
This isn't the one.
This isn't the one. What happened there? Should have been this
In
one.
2025, a little team in Queenstown needed some players to try and keep up with their bigger local rivals. The manager promptly looked for Cork City's leftovers to impress the fans. Today, Cove Ramblers still aren't impressive and have spent a fortune. And if you have a player and no one will take him and he is off First Division standard, maybe he can join the B team.
To be fair to them, they had a great tweet for us on Sunday night. It was, what was it? Academy skills training going ahead as planned.
Oh, God. Paul DC on top. Jeez. Will Aaron Howie take those words lying down now? I don't know. There'll be a nice bit of banter for the whole season now going ahead. So, yeah. Good to see that went ahead after the late pitch inspection.
Decky McCormack, did you watch the 0-0 draw versus Kerry?
No, I didn't, to be honest with you. I had a look at it. Fuck
that.
It was like they were very, very lucky that there wasn't a penalty given to Kerry there. I mean, to me, it's a very blatant penalty.
If that was in Turner's Cross, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't given. 0-0 draw at home to Kerry is probably not a great result. Would have expected better. Can I just ask you guys, remember your man Kelleher at Kerry, that everybody was, he's going to be in Premier Division, he scored X amount of goals, his thing. And Decky was saying, no, he's a First Division striker, he is where he belongs. And lo and behold, here we are 6 months later, and he's still pinging around up front for Kerry. I mean, what happened, lads?
Yeah, but you also said Tunde Olabi was a great player. But look, let's not go there.
What happened? What happened, lads? What happened to the great Kerry man who was going to take the Premier Division by storm? No answers.
I don't know.
Okay.
Where is he? Does anyone actually know? What is he?
Okay. That's fair enough.
All right. That concludes this episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast. Lads, anything to add before we wrap up? I see Bad Decky licking his lips there. He's about to say something.
No, he's just smug.
No, he was just licking his lips. Yeah. Pretty smug.
He got Tunde and Jack Doherty well wrong on it, didn't he? But anyway, look.
No, not at all. But anyway.
Not at all.
Should we only play... we're not going into it, no. Tunde grand. not Tunde Jack. No, we can't. I'll do it, no problem. But
I've only messed with it.
He'll be giving out again, and we're going on too long, so...
Right. Careman, any words of wisdom to our toe-tappers out there before they embark on their week?
No, I think just get geared up for the game on Friday. I hope the momentum and the buzz is still there.
Get geared up. Expecting trouble.
I was hoping someone would pick up on that, but Bohs coming down. But it's a big game, and hope the buzz is still there to start the season. Hopefully, there's a big crowd, and we come out with the win. And as I said earlier, keep on hooping, KOH, and. Have a good week, everyone.
Do you think the toilets be clean?
They'll leave them out of spite now.
No, they won't be clean at all. No. The time to do that was before the season, and the season started. There's not enough time. There's not enough time now for all that. There was only 2 weeks from the last home game, so there's no time.
All right, we're running out of time here now. We've been going on for too long, lads. Adios.
Can I just remind people before you go, big clubs aren't afraid of playing games. Clubs with winning mentalities are not afraid of playing football matches. Shamrock Rovers were afraid to play a football match on Sunday, and don't ever forget it. Adios.
The next episode will be available very soon.